Conceptually, it's fair to compare the AK380 with a smartphone. However, the AK380 is not a smartphone, it's a DAP, and because of that, it has to be compared to other DAPs. Interfaces, both software and hardware, are probably the hardest thing for any manufacturer to master. Okay, fine, yes, they gotta get all the audio quality and that's really hard. Well, is it? We have a load of different DAPs that sound good and measure really well. Anyone with any sort of know-how in the engineering team can make something that sounds good or measures well. Blast me all you want. But it takes more than just an engineer that knows how to get the ones and zeros to the right spot and with the under load and all that. It takes a lot more than that person to make a good interface. Case in point is Sharp. I've used Sharp Minidisc since 1999, and it took them a long time to come up with a good, solid interface. The first good design they ever had is the Sharp DR7. The recorder that came before it is called the MT77. It's one of the most beautiful designs I've ever seen in a Minidisc player. In fact, it's got LEDs that light up depending on the compression level that you've used to record an album. The basic navigations of this player are not very good. This little wheel up here, it's not a wheel. It's actually a dial that goes up and down and left and right, essentially like a game controller. Left and right controls track forward and track back, and up and down controls volume. But because it's so small, you have to basically press with your fingernail, unless you've got extremely tiny hands. Next to the DR7, it's a disaster. And they are only 1 year apart in terms of debut on the market. However, it took Sharp a long time to get to this, which is actually somewhat easier than some of their older recorders to use. And in another year, they came up with this, which is absolutely better in every single way. There's a lot of different things that a DAP manufacturer can add into their DAP to make it better to use by the end user. And I think Astell Kern are fixated on making it metallic and industrial, and in some ways doing the German thing without the German mindset. Astell Kern, your physical interface is bad and you have to fix it. You need to get someone who knows what they're doing to just basically flip your world upside down. Because currently you have a good GUI, in fact, one of the best on the market, but you've got to fix your physical interface to make it a joy to use your high-end products. The biggest problem with the AK380 is how it cannot handle load through its balanced output. You plug in your favorite headphones or earphones, and everything turns to bad. What's the point of a $3,500 DAP if it's not for the best quality sound that you can get? And balanced currently is generally the way to get there. Okay. All right, got it. Was I fair to Astell Kern's AK380? Well, as far as it concerns graphical interface, no, I wasn't. Smartphones are better, but let's not compare smartphones anymore. They're just rocket years, light years ahead of the DAP market in terms of user interface, both graphical and otherwise. If you want to make sure that your GUI stays on the top and pushes forward, you need to make sure that it doesn't go back. You need to copy as much as you can from the smartphone market, the good stuff, and incorporate it into your players and keep pushing that way. Don't look at the DAP market. Don't copy Cohen. Don't even copy Sony. Don't copy anyone except for the smartphone market, and you'll stay ahead on the GUI plane. But you have to fix your amplification. Once you plug in a pair of headphones into your balanced and sometimes even your single-ended outputs, all hell breaks loose, or all hell becomes reality. You no longer have one of the best sounding devices on the market. You have a device that cannot sustain load. And that is a big problem when most of the load that will be plugged into your device is a headphone or an earphone. What's he gonna say at the for the end words? As it regards sound, you have a lot of work to do. Recently, I tested your SPM1000M. It hisses. Any earphone that I plug in, no matter how sensitive, should not hiss from a $2,000 or $2,400 player. That's ridiculous. Maybe from a FIO for $179, sure. From an M6, if it hisses, it's like, well, whatever. Fine. Maybe from a Minidisc from 20 years ago, it should hiss, or if it hisses, fine. But a brand new player in year of our Lord, current year +4? No way, man. No way. Not for an expensive player. If your player hisses, forget it. Now, AK380 does not hiss. Great. But your SPM1000M, what the heck is that? If you do that again, that's it. The market does... Hopefully it's going to be a hot take. There'll still be idiots that buy your stuff and they're like, "Ooh, this is great sound, it's 3,500, it's got like 8 cores, and it's got like just 17 DACs, and it goes to 6 VRMS, and audiophiles.
Hot take.
You gotta make sure that your outputs are consistent with load or without load, and no hiss. Also, get rid of those horrible angles. They're just ridiculous. You shouldn't have to put the thing in a case in order not to bleed.
Hot take.
On the off chance that Astell Kern are watching this video, I want you to do better. I want you to fix your edges. I want your devices to be comfortable to hold in the hand. And I want your UIs to stay better than anything on the market. Don't look at the DAP market and see the horribleness that's already there. Look at the smartphone market. Implement the right things from the smartphone market to make DAP use better than ever. And by God, the last thing you really need to fix you really need to fix is the outputs that you have on your players. Under load, there should be no problem from any earphone for a $3,500 player. Your new market end flagship thing that's coming out now shouldn't have the problems. If it does, you haven't learned anything. If it doesn't, thank you for paying attention. Anyway, guys, I'll see you next week.